What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hey kids, it's me, Cindy. We're back for another fun and exciting week. This is Cindy's Chat Corner. This is my primary 1 out of 3 shows. I'm so excited today that I can't stand it because it's John. John, the actor, is coming on my show today. The infamous John. I cannot wait. In fact, so much so that I'm going to stop spieling and spewing and talking all this junk, and I'm going to get him on the air right away, and we'll start our show. So without further ado, let's start talking to John. Hi, John.
Hi, Cindy. It's John. How you doing?
Oh, my God, I'm so nervous. I can't stand it. See, I thought when you came on here I wouldn't be nervous.
Don't be nervous for me. That's for sure.
Trust me when I tell you.
Though.
You're quite welcome. If you read my introduction, you already know that I have a very high opinion of you. And that is not something that comes easily. You have to earn that. And you have, very much so. And I'm so excited and so proud and so privileged to have you on the show. I can't even tell you.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to be asked, and thank you. You've been quite supportive since we started getting to know each other, and I'm so appreciative. It's hard to put it into words.
Oh my God! Now it's like, wow, it's gonna be crying all day today. I can just see this already. You know what's funny? Before we begin, you sound like a New Yorker, and I didn't think you would. You look so non-New Yorkish. Does that make sense?
I guess it does. I think pictures it can make people look different from the where they're from or the area they're from. And if I have a little East Coast accent, well, yes, I was born in the Bronx in New York and still live in the New York area.
I got you. Yes, as a matter of fact, and we're going to get into all of that history. I'm so excited about this because I know so many things about you. I'm hoping that I'm going to reveal to some of your fans stuff that they don't know about you because I pride myself on asking out of the ordinary questions. I will probably embarrass you just so that you know. We'll kind of go from there. But before we start, I just want to say, I'm going to read this little ditty that I wrote up. So this way, some of the people that are listening in get some bird's eye view about you in case they didn't read the intro. So just give me about 35 seconds to read this to you. These are kind of my initial thoughts about John to start with. You, as described by myself, is a selfless soul who by immediate glance just carries warmth in his eyes, and upon entrance in any room, I'm certain he captures the attention of many. He emulates excitement and eagerness on any set or when surrounded by his fans or his family. He is precise and on point within his performance and serves as coach to future I wrote a word I can't even pronounce. Funambulists. Nice job, Aubrey.
Wow.
John's path has been mixed with both pain and pleasure, and yet he never loses his longing to ride out the rain till the rainbows appear. When I state that I am blessed to be considered to be a friend to him, it is because of what lies within his soul and not so much on the screen. So it stands to reason that, I'm not shocked at all that I'm very nervous and very concerned about how this is going to go because I hold you in such high stature. And hopefully everyone else will.
Well, thank you, and we'll see. I do what I do, and then if people like what I stand for, then that's great. I always just trying to help one person a day at a time, and just try to live my life in a good way.
Of course, definitely, as we all do, of course. Now, one of the things that I crave to do on this show is kind of capture some of the unknown and kind of bring it out to my audience. Now, I was very surprised that I had learned by you, of course, that your original roots stem from the New York Foundling Hospital. Now, to those that don't know, you're an adolescent who's adopted, which I'm guessing might stir some sadness in one's spirit. I guess there's a couple questions I have to ask about this. Did that particular course of events cause your feelings regarding your own family to be drastically different, how you view family values, etc.?
No, absolutely not. Now, in regards to that, I was an infant when I was adopted, and one of 4, and so no, my family is my family, and nothing other. As I grew up, and when I was old enough to understand that I was adopted, it was not hid from me. It was addressed. We are a family just like any others. and I was lucky in the sense because coming from a foundling, hospital back in the 60s, these things were a lot more difficult. And well, they're still difficult today, but it's just a long process for many. So no, I'm proud of the fact, and I've also had the opportunity to grow up in a very loving and supportive household.
Oh, certainly,
with
definitely.
With a wonderful family.
Does it make you strive within your own family circle, of course, to make your family very resemblant to the family that you come from?
I think that with everything that I do, the best way for me to put it is I try to be half the man my father was and half the person that my mother is. And that is a very hard thing because I keep such a high standard based on their upbringing. So if I can be half of what they are, then I'm doing something right.
Oh, absolutely wonderful. Now, I want to pose this question to you. Someone that was very dear to me, of course. She had a child when she was young, and she actually gave it up for adoption, of course. And I know that she's harbored quite a great deal of just sadness and all sorts of emotion and feeling due to that. So it kind of begged to have me ask you the question in terms of, has there ever been a beckoning on your part to search out your biological parents?
No, I actually never had the reason to or the desire to. It's not saying that sometimes there wouldn't be a question in my mind, but having the open relationship in the sense of knowing where my situation was and where I came from was always helpful for that matter. Now, of course, as you grow up and you say, well, why am I doing this, or why do I have this ability versus that ability, and different things, you'll come up and say, okay, well, now it makes sense. If I knew I had artistic ability for, it's hereditary. Some things are hereditary, some things are passed on. And so, yes, sometimes you can question and say, well, why am I this way? And not knowing some of those things. But I think that's really been the excitement of it all too, is because you as a person you grow, and whether something is hereditary, and in my case it had to be in the artistic sense, was these things will come out in time.
Right. Of course, definitely. Interesting. Yeah, because I've heard that from other adoptees as far as there was some inkling and some desire, but it sounds to me like you had the most fabulous parents. In fact, we're just going to speak about that right now. Younger years, of course, let me get to this point first, would show you as a smaller John starting to sketch as well as producing paintings. So I'm curious, do you dabble in any of the aforementioned artistry any longer?
I haven't picked up pencil to paper, and especially since the computer has really helped out on a lot of things. So I still love to create. I just don't sit down and draw or paint anymore, which I know some people would be disappointed with. I'm not going to say I was great, but I was able to do quite a bit when I sat there, and I always loved comic books, and in a lot of ways I'm still a geek in that sense. I love all the comic book superheroes, and especially the movies that are out there. So and those wind up being my collectors. But yeah, I like to create graphics on the computer now, but more of stretching myself.
Oh, I gotcha. Now, does your son engage in that sort of artistry as well? I mean, is that something where you're kind of like he doodles and does things like that, or no interest?
No, he has his other talents. He has his other interests. Right now, he's full time in college, and he's also working full time. So he's got his plates full. He doesn't have much spare time to really get involved, but he does get involved in some. He's doing some blog type situations that he's getting involved in and having fun there.
I gotcha. And certainly, I want to just do this as a side note because I am your Facebook friend as well. I just got to tell you, folks, oh my God, apple does not fall far from the tree. He's darling. Oh, he's just so cute and so darling. I just had to say that. I saw these pics and I'm like, oh my God, he's so cute. Very cute little boy.
Thank you. I'll let him know because he's probably working right now, so he's probably not have the chance to listen to this show.
Oh, that's quite all right, actually. That's just fine. But, yes, now I want to notate, your father, of course, was both a veteran and a New York City firefighter. So I'm curious to ask you this. I'm wondering how you achieved becoming an actor, because I'm gathering that his gladness might have been found through maybe you continuing on in the career. I've noticed that people usually, when they have, their kids out there and they're like, oh, yeah, firefighting or becoming a veteran, doing the military. Did he want you to follow in those footsteps, or did he kind of say, hey, go fly?
No, well, he was, my father was a quiet, wise man. When he said something, you knew it was coming from his heart. I am a military veteran. Was in the Marine Corps also. So, yes, I did follow in one particular footstep there, because I found, when I was looking for a challenge that I felt was necessary in, when I was after high school, something that I was looking for, I felt that, you take the best example you have in your life and you say, okay, well, I want the challenge that made me what he was. Getting out of the service, no, I had no desire to be a firefighter, because that is something that was something sacred to him, and every parent wants their child to do something for themselves.
Right, I agree 150%. 150. But since you brought up the Marine, which I unfortunately I did not know about that component of you, have you ever taken any of the experiences as being a Marine and translating them to any performance you've ever done, just whatever you took from that experience?
I would say with certain characters, yes, there's always an element of either my past or my experiences that will be brought out one way or another. A lot of the characters that I do play do have some sort of, it's either paramilitary or some sort of needing of that stance or that the ability of. I think a lot of times people recognize me differently is because my posture is still that of a Marine. So he's standing up straight, walking in a certain way. So there's a certain element that will always be part of me for life.
Okay, I understand completely. And we'll get to that point. I'll leave that one as such for right now. We'll get back to it. Now, before we get into anything really serious, one of the things that I found very interesting and very cool about you is that I notated you recently had held a surprise giveaway for your fans. So chat a bit about that. What made you bring about the contest? Is it an ongoing contest? What's going on with that?
Oh, in regards to the Familia itself? We like to, with everything that we like to do, and, fans are really the reason why things get done. It's a matter of popularity. It's so much, but we can never lose sight of where we come from. And it's up to people to make these things happen. And the people that enjoy us, well, yes, we like to find a way to give back. You can't do it to everybody, but you try and find something to give back in one way or another.
Gotcha. And what exactly was the contest? I was curious because you didn't really say. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to ask him. What was it?
Well, we have a poster. It was a poster giveaway.
See, nobody asked me to be in it.
A large poster.
And somebody won it, I guess, already.
Yes, somebody won it.
Oh, see, they never let me have any fun. I never got to invite in that. Okay. No, I always thought it's interesting to ask an actor this because like all the big Hollywood ones, because they always call them big Hollywood, like George Clooney's big Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. I want to ask you if you could tell us maybe one or two of your fan stories, and I'm also curious if you've reached what I call the strange stalker stage. Those strange stalkers that, come to everything you go to, tell you you're wonderful every day. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, I don't have the stalker problem at all, which is nice because I am a lot older in that sense than most of the actors out there. I'm 50 years old, so I don't have a lot of the younger folk, flocking to me. I'm the guy that's always in charge, the guy that's going to yell. So a lot of times, in fact, a lot of people that don't know me think I'm always so serious, only because of the way I look, as I said, as my posture stands, and a lot of times people feel that I'm unapproachable, and until they know, and I'm joking around the entire time. But so I don't have those issues. Fan-wise, I get recognized only for a couple of certain projects. But more often than not, I'm not a celebrity as that's in magazines and things like that. I'm just a working actor trying to do my thing, move forward until, each part that gets a little better, a little more opportunities that did come along. But I'm still struggling just like every other actor out there.
Wow. Now that's a shock. Because it's hard. I mean, I can see where people would be afraid to approach you, because honestly, if I didn't watch you and didn't know things about you, I'd be petrified to walk up to you, because you look really serious all the time. Like you're saying, that serene demeanor, it's just like, oh my God, this man's going to bite my head off or something.
Right.
But yet by the same token, your personality is just one that people I would think would gravitate to. So that's why I'm like, if they're following your career, they would love to line up and meet you. Does that make sense?
Well, I appreciate that. A lot of things.
It's true.
Yes, it is. It's when people get to know who I am and how I am, is when people start to open up to me.
Okay,
even my own cast members.
Really? Seriously?
Yes.
Oh my
because,
gosh!
the characters I play sometimes are very dark and very demanding, and it can be taken that is the way I am in real life.
Oh boy. I guess this means that I should throw out that obligatory question, which is, why don't you have a fan club yet? You're, famous enough now. I think you should have a fan club. I think people want to know you. I'm serious. I'm not lying to you. I'm serious. Why do you not have a fan club? I think we need to do this. I'm not kidding.
Okay. Well, I've always, in this business and being older and things of that nature, I'm happy that anybody might like my Facebook page. It's small, but I appreciate the people that have come to visit my page and click like. And I never ask for anything from people. I don't. I do love the fact that people take the time, even on my any social media that I put up. If someone clicks like, or they favorited a tweet or something like that, I'm appreciative, because someone took the time to visit my page or like a picture. But I never asked for it. I'm just, especially with social media, I'm just putting it out there. Here it is. If you want to see it. If not, okay, that's fine.
Definitely. I understand. I got it. Now, before we move on to the next one, this is, of course, just a side note, because, of course, you are an actor. So I'm wondering, do you, because, of course, I always fantasize in my head from, 16 on, and I'm 45, I watched the Golden Globes last night. So I watch every award show faithfully. And why? Because, I like to pick on the girls that don't dress right. But moreover, I truthfully believe that one of my screenplays or one of my projects will eventually, I'll just get that to stage once. So as an actor, I say to myself, or actually, you're the actor, not me yet, I ask you, do you watch these shows? And then, of course, if you do, I have a question as it relates to, I could actually throw the question out to you. Here's my thoughts on this. A lot of actors that I talk to think that Hollywood in general, and when I say Hollywood, I don't mean just Hollywood, I mean the award shows and the accolades and things like that. There's a lot of political correctness that goes along with that. I just want to get your stance as an actor on that.
Well, award shows, a lot of times I don't have time to watch them. I would love to.
Oh.
I don't get to see a lot of the films that are out there, because when my hustle is 24/7, that's every day of the week. I'm doing something to move forward with either my career or the production that I'm involved in. So it's always a constant thing. It may sound like I don't have time off, but that's not the case. Is because when you do love what you do, it's 7 days a week, working 16, 18, 20 hours per day. It doesn't mean it. It's, you're just loving what you're doing.
I agree with you.
A lot of things like that. My feelings about award shows, and it was funny, I was actually having a conversation recently about this, is for all the actors and actresses out there, and there are so many talented people that people will never get a chance to see. And so when these group of actors and people are nominated for an award and they didn't win and they say it was just an honor to be nominated, well, think of the hundreds of thousands of others that weren't even in the running. And so, yes, it is an honor. You're in a group that was, that took a long time to get to.
And, I was just thinking to myself, and it's funny, we brought this point up, I have a lot of friends that are indie artists and individuals who go off and they want to make a film and they find the financing. We live in a world now where we've got all sorts of, different campaigns and GoFundMes and things like that.
Right.
And this is just a question I want to throw out there because I do this a lot of times with actors too. If someone's listening right now and they're a budding filmmaker, they're a budding producer, actor, etc., if you were to be realistic with them right now, would you still encourage them nonetheless, knowing about the politics and the competition out there and how things kind of work in Hollywood, would you still say to them, yes, go off and do that indie production. Find your money, make it. It's worth it.
Well, I will back that up with yes, but I will also say unless you are loving what you're doing, don't do it. You have to love this business. You have to love what you're doing for everything to be worthwhile. The end justifies the means, but it takes hard work. It takes perseverance. It takes rejection, being able to handle rejection on an almost a daily or hourly basis in some cases. But you have to, and if you love it, okay, you just keep taking that little small step forward every day, and that's regardless of anything in life that you have a passion for. You want to write a book, you want to coach a little league team or something to that effect, or just something that makes you feel good. You want to learn how to take pictures. If you love what you do, the work behind it means nothing, and it's worth every second of it.
Excellent. Very well put. Thank you. It's going to come in handy as we move along here. Actually, let's go to that right now. I've noticed through observing you and watching the things you say and do, one of the main mantras that you actually carry is dreams, drive, determination, and desire, which I just absolutely love. And I actually live all those principles and fundamentals too. So 2 questions on this. I'd like you just to elaborate further on this theory of yours, how you came up with that and how it became kind of a lifestyle for you. And second of all, is it original to you or is it borrowed from someone?
Well, it is really something that I've lived by, and I've kind of combined them to say that. It's something that I do on a daily basis, but it also goes back a long time to my history. But one of the key things about believing in yourself is that is how I was brought up from my parents. You have to believe in yourself. We were taught to be, thoughtful people, but we also were taught to think for ourselves, to believe in what we can do and then do it.
Okay.
And that's where everything comes in, of course, in the military. And I've had a lot of setbacks in life. But I've never lost focus of who I am. In that sense, I believe that things will always be better and to never give up.
I like that. I really, really like that. Do you ever find yourself challenged in that regard? Because you've picked a profession, obviously, where, jobs aren't exactly a dime a dozen, and as you're mentioning, the rejections and getting turned down. Have you ever just looked in the mirror and thought, you know what, maybe this just wasn't where I was supposed to be?
At this stage, absolutely not. Absolutely not. What I have done is because there's a freedom when anyone finds their dream, and I'm not. As I said, I'm 50 years old. I'm coming back from a whole nother lifestyle. I did the corporate route. I did the retail things. I've had other experiences for a long period of time through my life. But when you set out and you actually look at yourself in the mirror, and I challenge some people with this too, is you can lie to other people. And it happens. Lies happen, white lies, whatever it may be, indirect or direct. You can. If you look at yourself in the mirror, you can't lie to yourself. You will blink. You will turn away. You cannot lie to yourself. So when you look in the mirror and say, I want to do this, and when that freedom releases the power within you, no, everything is moving forward from that point on.
I love that attitude. See, can you people see why I just adore this man? I mean, it's just nothing but positivity and drive and determination. And, people like you are just destined for greatness because you refuse to fail yourself. That's one of the things that I like so much about you. There's no level of failure here. It's not acceptable. Mm-hmm. And I like that, and you need that. And especially in your career and in your I've talked to so many actors and individuals who just want to give up every other day, and it's frustrating, and it frazzles them, and they're like, and just something keeps pulling them. It's that passion and that drive, and you're fabulous. I know I've said that. I'll probably say it about 8 more times, so just bear with me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, one of the positive and proven perks to life in New York City, because, of course, you live in New York City, is that the city never neutralizes in its artistic alms. Now, I know that there's a few things that you've attended recently, the screening of Love Like This, the Tribeca Film Festival, and additionally, of course, the Toys of Hope event. So to the normal or novice individual that's listening, participation in situations like this is just oftentimes unlikely for most people. So I want you to kind of take us on a trip into this arena of adventure. First off, is it as lively and luxurious as one would envision? You know, you see your red carpet, you see these events. Take us kind of back with you and talk to us a little bit about those types of things.
Well, I think in anything in the entertainment industry, a lot of times it appears to be more glorious than it is. A lot of the networking events are key, okay? And I don't get to them because of my plate being so full all the time. I don't get to the events that I would like to be at. I get invited all the time. It's a matter of, scheduling or whatever it may be. So I enjoy them when I get to go there because I will also run into people that I haven't seen in a while, haven't talked to in a while, and also meet new people because it is, in this business, as large as it is, it's very small in the sense where a lot of the same groups are still out there and at these same events. I think for anybody to go to a red carpet, it's exciting. It is exciting, but if you're not ready to have your picture taken 1,000 times, then that's when it becomes a little different for people. So anybody that is introverted or a little shy, well, the red carpet is really not the place to be.
Oh, definitely, obviously. And, of course, I can understand your drive and passion to want to make an appearance and attend the Tribeca Film Festival. And, of course, what's neat about that is, obviously, it's founded by Robert De Niro. It's one of those highly recommended film festivals that are out there. Maybe because you've attended. Tell us why. Were there films in particular that you saw that you thought to yourself, this is going to be phenomenal?
Well, the reason why I was at the Tribeca Film Festival was actually because of one of my partners has had a movie being shown there. It was actually the Big Apple Film Festival, but it was being held at the Tribeca Theater. And I went there to support him. And it was a beautiful movie, so in fact, it was so beautiful, when it was shown again, I went to see it again.
Nice.
So there are projects out there that I love to support as many projects as possible, and in the independent film is really the true passion of the business. You put a bunch of people together with a dream trying to make it true. And it's a world of difference. Listen, big budget movies are great. It's a nice paycheck and things of it, but it's still business run like. But the effort, the energy, the people staying up for 36 straight hours trying to get something done with limited resources, limited funding, you name it. That's really,
right.
And when something special comes out of it, it's just like wow. It's a sense of, oh my God, yes, dreams come true, and in a lot of cases, the independent film festivals, that's where you see it. That's where you see the magic happen.
Oh, I agree with you 150%. Does that mean you met the big guy?
No, Robert De Niro. No, I got but in regards to that, I got to meet Santa Claus, and I'm very proud of that.
Oh my
I believe in Santa
look at
Claus
that.
because I met him.
I do too. Oh, my God, how cool is that? That's absolutely so funny. My gosh. I just figured, you know what, hey, if you go to that film festival, chances are great, obviously, he's going to be there. And we all know he's such an icon and so forthright and so forthcoming. And so he reminds me of you in some ways because, when you ever watch him get interviewed, he's very serious. He likes to play his comedy roles, but he's just so serious and so on task and so, filled with emotion on the inside. It doesn't really show on the outside. To me, it's like he kind of covers everything inside of him. And I could go on a day about that, man. But okay, fine. I want to know how you got hooked up on Toys of Hope event. How did you end up lending yourself to doing time on that?
Well, that is something that I'll be going, and that again is through my partners, and that's through Emilio Rosa, and that's through Noel Torres. These guys have been with them, our production company that we are going to be doing the Familiar with, we are a charitable. We want to give back, as we said, just as we want to. The fans are important, but we want to try and give back for anything that comes our way. There's usually a blessing attached to it, and it's giving back to others that will continue on a better route or a better path for us.
Okay.
And so they've been involved in that, and so indirectly I get involved with them.
Okay, and I was confused because I couldn't tell for sure if it actually had happened already or if it was going to be happening, because I don't know if you know
that
I wanted to just make a note.
that happens already. So then that's something that's done on a yearly basis, and it's a great charity.
Okay. Do you have any personal charities of your own that you endorse or would like to do something with in the future?
Absolutely. I'm a very big fan of the work at St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
Okay.
And that is something down the line I will be working heavily with them. I'm also an animal lover, and so the shelters, and they need support too. I would love to support so many things, but there's only so much time and finance and everything else to do it at this point. So, but down the line, yes, it's a guarantee.
Something inside of me just yearns to ask this question. I noticed that you didn't mention. I can really seriously picture you opening up your own theater company. Am I just whack for thinking that?
Well, I wouldn't say theater company, but there will be at some points there will be something in that line. I don't want to give away some future plans already in play.
Yay! Oh, that's wonderful. See, so I wasn't that far off base. Yay! Okay, that's all you need to do is validate me. Now I feel a little bit better there. My goodness. Okay. Awesome. Now, I'm excited to note that you have placed both your photo and your presence on a menagerie of products in different places. I'm just going to highlight a few here, which is I know you've done a photo shoot for Lime magazine, as well as, of course, interviews with Vive Catherine, if I pronounce that correctly, and, of course, the glorious Gail King herself. So I have a couple questions here. First of all, I need you to give me some scoop on Gail. She's coming on my program the 21st of this month. And I know some things about her, but tell me a little something about that interview. Tell me how that went. Just tell me about her.
Well, Gail is a wonderful person. Okay, she has been through things that I will not discuss. I'll allow her to bring that up. But as a person, she is absolutely beautiful inside and out. She is trying, and her whole show, looking to make a difference. She is taking things that have happened in her life, and she's trying to help better others. And it's every day, Gail is doing something to make a difference in this world, and I take my hat off and I think the world of her.
That's absolutely wonderful. Yes, I in fact actually approached her about I have some film productions myself, and I'm like, would you please do a little cameo? And she's so sweet about it. And she's like, of course I would. And I'm like, oh my God, how exciting is that? So I'm really pumped up and excited about having her. That'd be wonderful. Next question. In your own opinion, of course, is the media exposure harder to harness in New York City because there's such a chunk of competition, meaning there's so many actors, so many people? Is it hard to try to get yourself exposure to the media because of that?
I don't. I'm not so much, although I should be looking to get interviewed and my picture all over the place. That's not what I'm all about. Is it New York? There's a wealth of opportunity for everybody, regardless. It's just how you go about your business, and of course there's opportunities, and anything in life. Sometimes we miss opportunities. We say, I should have done that, but you can't look back. You have to look forward, and you make your decisions based on what's right. For everything. Good plans are, yes, to have, press conferences and be interviewed and things of that nature. I've gotten to be interviewed by Gail twice already. Love it. But, these are the things that I'm more honored, just as you asked me to be on your show, than looking to say, hey, look at me, even though that's the business I'm in.
I understand completely, definitely. Now, if individuals want to go back and let's say if they want to see your appearances on Gail or if they want to get a copy of the magazine, et cetera, can you just let people know? Is that accessible to them? Can they get to it?
Well, I would have to find it because I've already. Well, Gail.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gail, we can find a way. If anything, I usually post things right onto my my acting page. There'll be some sort of link on there. I did recently the last interview I did about the Christmas Tears movie. I believe I have it on my acting page already. Right. If not, I'll check to make sure that it's there. And in regards to the Lime magazine was an event that I was at, and it actually happened on my birthday, and so that's why it wound up being a photo shoot. So it was a little different. So it wasn't so much a photo shoot that was earmarked for myself and with Emilio and Noel. But we were there. We were cordially invited to attend, and it kind of spun off from there.
Wonderful. I understand completely, definitely. And do you foresee yourself, one of the things that I noticed about you, and this is a personal observation, I've just taken it upon myself to see that in different pictures as I've looked at you envelop, you seem to be getting more camera-friendly. Is it just my imagination?
I think it's really it all depends on the camera. I always
Really?
say that it's good lighting and makeup that makes me look good.
Oh,
but
gosh.
it could very well be it's the camera that was used for the picture taken. Some of the pictures are actual on-set pictures, and of course they're going to be clearer. They're going to be different types. A lot of the pictures, as things progress, sometimes they're just someone's cell phone picture or something to that effect. But
oh, sure, definitely. Because I look at you and I'm like, he always seems like he's so posed and so perfect, and he's like right in the right spot, and he's got that smile and just the right angle. Honestly, maybe you just don't observe it, but this is just like
I actually do that. I'm not going to deny it. If there's a picture to be taken, I have learned where to put my chin, where to put my eyes, and where. Yes, so there are certain things that are. But it also, again, with the characters that I play, there was a few pictures that I had posted. I don't know, a month or so ago about a project that I was working on, and I had a pair of sunglasses on, and those were the on-set photographer pictures. Said, I got to send you these. These are too cool. And I'm like, oh, thanks,
Right. Oh, definitely. See, look at that, dude. So, if anybody wants a model, apparently John knows how to do that, left, right, and sideways here. So
well,
just reveal that, too.
Now,
yeah, exactly. That's right. Okay, we're going to flip back to the personal side of things because, of course, you're not just an actor, you're a person, too. So I want to let the listening audience know. I know your birthday is April 2nd, which makes you an Aries. So here's a few things I want to ask you about that. My brother's an Aries, and I don't like him very much, but I like you. So we'll say this. April 2nd, so therefore you share your birthday with people such as Chris Maloney, who's such a fabulous actor, along with the infamous Marvin Gaye. Didn't know if you knew that, because I'm an addict to astrology, so I look into all that stuff. So apparently, John is supposed to have the following qualities: proud, loyal, impulsive, determined, and fiery. Not sure about that fiery influence. Can't really see that.
Oh,
so I'm just curious.
That should be moved to the top for me.
Oh, my God, really? I was just going to ask you, so how closely coordinated is all this to your true self?
I would say it's pretty close. It's pretty accurate. Without a doubt, determined. There is nothing will stop me. If I put my mind to something, nothing will get in my way.
Okay.
I just push through. The various things in my life, they've taught me that as examples, and of course having the Marine background, that there is no surrender, there is no retreat.
Okay. Right. Now, it's funny, you were mentioning to me, and this is one other personal thing that I wanted to bring up before we move along. In case those of you don't know, John's only been married for a few years now, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
No,
to your wife? It's been about
15 years now, yeah.
Why do I have 2011 on here? Uh-oh, now I'm in trouble because I really missed the mark on that. Okay, so here's what I want to ask you about your wife, even though I just made that huge mistake that we'll pretend I just didn't make. Your wife. Now, obviously, of course, you are freely in admitting that obviously your passion takes up an immense amount of time. So how does that work? Does it mesh well in terms of obviously you're a husband and a father? How do you get that proper balance?
It's very hard. I'm not going to deny it's very hard. Schedules are tough to coordinate in a lot of ways. We miss each other a lot, but if I'm, there's a lot of times I'm getting up and on the road at 3 a.m. and don't get home till very late at night. So we'll miss dinners together, we'll miss family events together. It's rough. She has been very supportive, but she's also had to deal with it really, many times, an absentee husband.
I gotcha. I understand.
Tough,
now
she knows.
She is not in a similar or parallel type occupation as yourself?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay,
no.
Gotcha. Okay.
She is
Sometimes
the introvert that I was talking about. Where she does the red carpet. She doesn't like the red carpet. It's just not her thing, and it's fine. She knows what I have to do, and just do it. Just leave me to the side, please.
Get it done. There you go. I gotcha. Now, this is kind of a blunt question, but I would be shocked if you haven't been asked this before, obviously. I want to know why, and this is, again, it could be just an observation, but I'm thinking no. You seem to be stereotyped as the serious in a suit. And most oftentimes you're in a suit, and oh, my God, you could scare me. You look so serious in character. Is that coincidental? Is it on purpose? You know what I'm trying to say?
This is on purpose.
Okay.
So,
I gotcha.
and
so you want to scare the hell out of us?
I just go against the grain. What works for me at my age and from my background and my various experiences, these are the roles that I get called for often. So I took the ball and I ran with it, and that's I did that for working purposes. Things, and of course there's a comfort level of certain things because I can always rely on some sort of military background, some sort of business backgrounds to go through these things. Are there parts that I'd love to play? Yeah, when I get established, I'll play those parts. But right now I want to work.
I understand completely. Has it ever crossed your mind or you've thought to yourself, I want to play a role, or even have you already played a role that is 100% opposite of who I really am?
I have, but somewhere in every character there's been some sort of part of me. So there hasn't been one character where it's totally not me at all. So yes, I would love to do that sometime.
Wonderful. So what would that character look like? I'm just curious. What's your the opposite of you, so to speak?
The alter ego.
Yes. That's exactly right.
Well, I'm actually preparing for a role that down the line that is actually a lot different than I am, and that is I have been cast to play Philip the Apostle in the story of Jesus. So that is going to be a major transformation, a major demeanor change, and a softer type of character because he was a disciple. So there's going to be a whole different change that I'll have to go into for that. That's me with long hair. I haven't had long hair since the 80s.
Oh, my God. Well, and that's just it. Now you're just mentioning the long hair. Is that tough? Because you, literally have to alter your presence. You have to literally alter your body. How tough is something like that? Yeah.
Well, it's, the things the things that we have to do to prepare for a role, some are tough, tougher than others, and this is going to be a tough one for me because I do like to keep my hair short. I do like to stay clean shaven. I have, that's just me. I'm more comfortable in a suit than a pair of jeans.
Of course. And that shows, obviously, Mr. Serious with the suit all the time. But yes, we've mentioned that. So we'll see how that all works.
Yeah, I've also been known to go to a hangout years ago. I was go to biker bars, but I'd be in a suit.
Oh my
Everybody
God.
else would be in the thing. Yeah, and I just say, but they treated me because the one thing about that culture is they treat everybody by who they are, not what they look like.
Exactly. Bingo.
And so so they didn't care. Once they got to know me, of course, I look like a cop.
Exactly.
But they didn't care once they realized, hey, I'm just another person.
Exactly. Wonderful. All right, now we're going to start talking about, I know some of your roles have brought you to the theater and the television, but several that I've known in the past, and including yourself, of course, switch at times to production instead of performance. So I want to talk a little bit about the production side of things. Just to note, you're executive producer to the Submelia, that I Can't Talk Today, and The Final Table, which is a short film. It seems to me as if you rather relish in being on screen. So why the perusal to production? I'm curious.
Well, I take it in for anybody, and this I'll just say for me. I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth or voice my opinion where I say this is what you should be doing. This is just for me. I want to learn everything about the business. The more you know about how things are made, it's a lot easier to understand what the vision is. So for me, it's important to listen to someone. Hey, this person is carrying a microphone. Well, why are they carrying that particular microphone? And it's good to know because hey, sound quality is important. The watching a cameraman how they work. Although I'm not going to use the camera or be the camera guy, it's nice to know what they're doing because they're the ones making the actor or actress look good. So it's important to know everybody's job because there's so many different elements that go into a project that, it's good to have a good knowledge. It helps me with characters. It helps me also on the production side to say, hey, you know what, this is how it should be done versus how it shouldn't be done.
Correct. And it makes you more well-rounded in general, I think, personally.
Without a doubt.
The more attributes you have. Definitely. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Familia in particular as far as this question, and your opinion, that is, on the reasons why moviegoers gravitate to some of the themes that are presented in the Familia. It seems to me as though people are just so fascinated with that world. I thought, let's ask your opinion on that. Why do you think it's so popular with moviegoers?
Well, I think it was always something that was known about but not known about. So there's a glamorous. Everybody has, in one way or a little fantasy. I want to be the bad guy. I want to be the good guy. I want to be this, that, the other thing. So now, the organized crime world, and look at John Gotti. John Gotti brought a lot of that out. That he's all of a sudden now, here's a mobster out in the public in a silk suit. Mm-hmm. It made it exciting to people. And he was very flamboyant, very charismatic. I wouldn't say flamboyant, but but things like that. So some of those things were brought out into the world, and of course, great movies. Like your Goodfellas. Your Scarface, right. All these things had kind of glorified everything that was going on, but really kind of left out a lot of the true stuff that goes on, because it's a violent world. It's a world of many different cultures.
Oh, certainly, definitely.
Things.
Well, you betcha. And even in the advent of, obviously, the mob wives, of course, in particular, I've obviously watched Chicago, New York. Obviously, you have the New York there as far as that chain goes. Some people find it over-dramatized. Some people find it more realistic. I don't know if you're a fan. Do you watch it all? I mean, have you?
I do not. A lot of reality TV is something that I do stay away from. I just don't. I don't believe in. It's just not for me. It's just not my cup of tea, as they say.
No, I understand. I gotcha. Now, in that particular project, you've actually worked alongside some of my favorites, of course, some of which are also coming on the show. Emilio Rosa is hands down one of my favorite people. Gina Scarda, Matthew Schultz, if I'm not mistaken. I want to ask a question about that.
Okay.
I want to find out how their participation has kind of perked up the project in general.
Well, I think with anything, in regards to this particular project, we are not star-driven. We are ensemble cast. So the story doesn't lay on any one actor or actress's shoulders, because these days it's very hard to do. With the story of the Familia, there are so many elements involved and so many people, so many characters. We couldn't rely on just revolving around one particular. It has to be told the proper way. So we're going to dive deep into these cultures. We're diving deep into all the organized crime and the law enforcement agencies that are trying to bring peace and justice. We're bringing it all in. So think of it as your Law and Order, your Criminal Minds, your CSIs, Scarface, Goodfellas, the Sopranos. It has elements of all of this. Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy. We are putting this all into the mix like gasoline on a fire. And when the thirst for power and influence grows, there's going to be a war, and no one is going to be safe.
Look at that. He just literally gave the whole synopsis, so I don't have to say, hey, John, can you tell us about the movie? Because he pretty much just did, actually. People that want to get a bird's eye view of this, obviously watch it, see it, etc., please let individuals know.
Absolutely. And in the sense right now, we have for the Familia, you can go to thefamilia.net on the internet for our website. Of course, the Familia series on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And we are on Twitter, so we're creating a lot of presence going on. Soon there'll be the Instagram and everything. So we're going across the board with the social media. But right now, the key is getting. We're in discussions with getting this distributed or to be seen on the larger cable networks or the premier streaming networks. Like the Netflix and Amazon, and so we're kind of getting everything in line. So we call it development pre-production. We have, but once we let the cat out of the bag, it's going to be too late. People are going to be hooked, and they're not going to even say, "Oh my God, they just did that."
Oh my
And
God,
that's what we're
I'm
going
excited
for.
just listening. Oh, it's so exciting. I'm like, I can't wait. This is absolutely, it's very exciting to see something come to fruition. I've been watching it in stages through Emilio's and other people's pages, and it's just so exciting to see the build-up and the cast, and it's fabulous. I mean, kudos to you guys. I have no doubt whatsoever that this will be knocked down, drag out, wonderful. I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever. And, of course, you're executive producer, so that says enough, right? Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Speaking of producer,
it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of things going, and we're going to shock the world.
and I'm not going to lie to you, having an attractive cast doesn't hurt you. And I know I'm not supposed to say that, but it's true. You have a very eclectic cast that's also very attractive, and I think people appreciate that. You've cast the perfect people that look right, that perform right, that are just on their A game, if I can just make that observation.
The best thing, and I'd like to say this because on your show, the best thing about the cast that we have assembled is the type of people that we have. Their energy level, their commitment, their drive, their personalities. It is really becoming a family within the familia. We've been, together now for just a little over a year in many senses. I had the great opportunity to work with them all in October when we did a promotional video that was showing to the networks, and just a wonderful group of people. And I couldn't be more thrilled to be not only work with them as a cast member, but to be on the team with them to get this thing going.
Absolutely wonderful. Now, some may not know that you've also produced commercial for Brooklyn and Mitsubishi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so that was something. Our director, Paola Toni, she actually directed our promo that we just shot. She had called me up, and she was doing the thing, and she said, "John, would you help me produce the commercials?" So I was very fortunate to be involved, and we came up with a couple of dynamite commercials. But she has great vision, great drive, great work ethic, and she is what I like to say is a very driven, strong woman, and I love it. She's focused and she's ready for the future.
Absolutely wonderful. Now, if you could just discuss a bit for us, because again, I'm a novice at things like this. Is there any kind of a perk on doing commercial work as far as being a producer as compared to other genres?
I think everything on a producing level. Just take the word itself, producer. That means you produce, and you're producing a lot of work. And that's exactly what you're doing.
Sure.
So are there benefits to doing either? It all depends on the size of the project. Since there are some perks to, if it's a smaller scale, yes, there's not as much involved, still a ton of work. But when you go for the larger and larger production that it becomes, the more and more work is involved.
Of course, that naturally makes sense. And it sounds like an absorbent amount of work compared to acting. And again, I'm a novice, but it's kind of like, acting is its own beast, whereas production is something, they're same but different. Well, obviously.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the man himself before we get to some of this, I can't even believe the TV film. Oh my God, your resume is like, oh my God. I could go on all day about this guy. There's just so much to ask. But I want to introduce people to who you are as the man himself. There's just some things I know about you. As we've talked about already, of course, you're a father and a husband. You're also an uncle, which I think is very cool. I found it interesting that it seems as though the majority of music that you enjoy is more of the heavy metal type. Really a shocker when you look at somebody like John. I love the fact that you're friends with one of the WWE giants, which is Gene Snitsky, because, of course, my kids are, way into WWE like you wouldn't believe. This is weird, too, people. Listen to this. This is the kind of stuff that John watches. The Godfather, which doesn't surprise me because look what you're filming. Pacific Rim, which is, of course, my boy Charlie Hunnam. Biker Build-Off. So I was like, are you some kind of a closet biker and you just don't want people to know?
Well, it's not even that people don't know. As I said before, I used to hang out in the biker bars, wearing a suit. So I love motorcycles, love them.
Really?
And I love the Biker Build-Off because that was the only type of reality show because they had to do something within a short period of time. And what they came out, they had to create within this. Although I did watch the Orange County Chopper. That became just a typical drama reality show. No, give me the bikes. I want to see the bikes finished. I want to ride them.
Sure. No, I understand exactly what you're talking about. Now, had you been an SOA fan?
I rarely get a chance to watch much. I'm usually working.
Okay.
I don't get involved in too many shows. I mean, the DVR is filled, but having the time to watch and sit down. If I'm sitting, I'm doing something else. That laptop is out, and I'm doing something to move forward, or updating something, or doing something on a regular given basis.
I gotcha. So no idle hands or no idle time for you, I should say, obviously, which I could have gathered. Definitely. Yes, well, you should find some time. Go to Netflix, Sons of Anarchy. It kind of goes without saying. Of course, it's over with now. But, any biker enthusiast, most of the time, I mean, it's just that, that I can't say enough about it, but that's a whole other thing. Now, how do you know Gene Siskey, or how are you friends with him? I was curious about that.
Well, now, Gene, I'm involved in a project called MMPR, and that is a fan film series where I actually play a general, and Gene is actually one of my soldiers. And so we met on set. I was off the night that he was filming, but still went to set, and that's what I said about independent filmmaking. Everybody's in it together, so you go support each other.
Right.
And so I got to meet Gene prior to his scenes, and then, of course, Gene is now with us in the Familiar, and a friendship naturally occurs, and he is a great guy, funny, caring person, and just a great person to be around. And as big as this man is, talk about a giant teddy bear that could rip your head off, He's just
funny,
a super person, just a lot of fun. One wonderful guy, caring hard. But just looks the way he is, and he had a great run in the WWE. Right.
And it all comes back to kind of what we were saying about appearances are just so, I mean, I know people that just look at bikers and they're like, I don't want to be friends with them. It's the look, you know what I mean? It's just they look a certain way. People are always, at times, stereotyping people, and it's unfortunate. So neat. I'll have to get to know this person. There's one I haven't checked out, so cool, as far as that goes. Now, I also note that you actually worked with one of my favorite actors in the whole wide world, apparently Paul Sorvino.
Paul Sorvino, yes. Well, actually, I did... work on a movie that he wrote. He wrote the music for. I was not in the scenes with him, but actually I was there the same day. He was just in different scenes. So
I gotcha.
But I did have lunch with him. Wonderful man. Wonderful man. He actually took us all out to lunch. We sat in this little restaurant and had a nice quick conversation, and then we all got up and went right back to set.
Sure. I was curious about that because I've been watching him for quite some time, and he has that real serious demeanor. Of course, well, it comes from Goodfellas, etc. But I just think he's an icon too, and I'm like, oh my God, how cool is that? You get to meet somebody and work with somebody like that. That's absolutely awesome. Cool.
Yes,
absolutely wonderful.
Absolutely. And when you find out that they're good people, even better.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. Of course. Now, on the personal side of things, tell your listeners one thing about you that they don't know that they'd be shocked to find out.
We got to go there.
Something they wouldn't expect. You bet your butt. You know why? Because you're human. I mean, a lot of times we look at actors and we put you up on that pedestal, and you're, it's important that people know you're you. So I want to hear something that's just so not you that people would never expect. Like, I'm insecure at times, like I'm a closet sci-fi geek, or I'm like a computer geek.
Well, I think I mentioned that before. Yeah, I'm still a superhero fan geek. Absolutely. I still love the comic book heroes. I'll still talk about comics with my son.
Okay.
Although I don't get a chance to read them these days. Yeah. Oh yes, I still love that genre.
Oh, of course, definitely. And then, of course, I just wanted, as a side note, because I don't know specifically, but did you, because you had sent me a biography, and I know that, just tell people a little bit about, have you had formal training, meaning you've gone to school for acting, for producing, for the field you're in? So you have. Okay, I gotcha. And where, are you a graduate in particular?
I've worked with many over the years. So many. Okay. And it's an evolving process. Everything, and we learn every day if we keep our minds open to it. And so training over the years with Stella Adler, with NYU. There's been many different programs that I was involved with.
I gotcha, certainly. And again, on a personal note, if I were to ask you right now, is there anything on the what we call the proverbial bucket list that would be inclusive of acting, producing, directing? Is there one thing on that bucket list you want to accomplish, let's say, in the next couple of years?
Actually, I dream big, I think big. So yes, there's actually very, very large things that I would like to accomplish. At this point, I will not share them though, because everything is a plan in place.
I understand.
You'll notice that on. I'm sorry. You'll notice on my personal page, I don't give details until it's time to give details.
Right, I noticed that. I'm like, you know what? That often surprises me. Well, maybe it's because I'm very candid. There's nothing that doesn't go on my personal page because it's personal. So I'm like, it's not a business thing. And it's funny to me how I come across some people that are just like, I'm just going to talk about my job, my films, my this, my this. And it's hard sometimes because you don't really get to know the man or the woman behind the page. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, does that make sense to you?
It does.
So in some ways it's kind of a bummer.
Well, for me, and it's not what I post on my page or my personal page is it's not about me. It's about us. It's about each and every person's dream. A lot of people tend to live vicariously through an actor or an actress.
Right.
I'm about the dream. I'm about making something true. I like helping others, saying, "Listen, I'd rather pick you up than step on you." And that's what I'd rather do. So I don't want to promote so much. Yes, I'm proud to be in every project, and each one you have a certain amount of love and passion about. But it's really about the next person, and it should be, in my opinion, that you say, hey, you know what? If someone's stumbling, you might be able to help them with a word. You might be able to say, hey, great job. And so if something that is helping me or things that I've accomplished can tell someone else that their dream can come true too, that's what I would rather do.
I love that. It's absolutely wonderful. That's a great explanation, too. It makes a lot of sense. Okay, now we've come to this part of the interview where I'm going to try to attempt to address the mass majority of your acting, because the list is like, oh, my gosh, you people won't believe it. So we'll look at the TV side of things first. I'm just going to name and notate some of the things that I've seen that you've participated in first, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
Changelings, Vengeance, The Familia, of course, Deadly Sins, Alien Dawn, which is a Nickelodeon project, Deadly Conviction, which is Investigation Discovery Network. I also noted that I came across pictures for both Boardwalk Empire and The Good Wife. Is that not correct?
Yes. In regards to anything, yes, I've been on Boardwalk. I've been on The Good Wife, Blue Bloods, all of the the aforementioned New York projects. Because when you work, you work. And if you either they say, and I believe this for a fact, there are no small acting jobs, just small actors. So yes, I work when I need to work, and then Blue Blood says, "Hey, we need somebody to be a detective. Are you available?" I'm going to work.
Of course, that makes perfect sense.
Would appear, it would appear to be a small, role to others, but hey, I'm working my craft any way possible.
Of course, definitely. So a couple questions relative to the TV-type roles. First off, obviously, to those that may not know, Boardwalk Empire, of course, is a HBO series as compared to some of the other networks that have it. Tell me something. As an actor, some people have said that you're afforded more freedoms when you do a program or a sequence from something such as an HBO or Showtime venue as compared to some of the other networks. Would you concur with that?
Absolutely.
Expressive or creative freedom?
Well, it's really more so on the content that you can put in there. There are, with everything with the primetime network, there are certain elements that you cannot have, and foul language, certain situations, be it violence or sexual in nature. It just can't be shown in a certain way. A lot of projects that are very big on the larger networks like HBO and the Showtimes and whatnot, there is more freedom to sometimes tell the story the way it needs to be said, not filtered down. And the same thing with The Familia. We cannot be on the network. We have to be on something where, the premium content, so that people know we are a R-rated show. We're not going to say, hey, we're going to filter it down, because some of the things that are in this show cannot be filtered down.
Of course. That makes perfect sense. I understand completely. Now I have to switch gears to The Good Wife. I'm a huge fan of The Good Wife. Huge. So first off, do you remember which episodes you were in so I can go back and look for you?
Oh, God.
Sorry.
There's been a lot of them.
Because I'm like, oh, my God, John. Oh, my God.
There's been a lot of them. No, offhand, I would have to go back into my notes, and I'll send you a message.
Okay. That would be great, because I would like to be able to catch on that. You wouldn't happen to be able to tell me why they killed Will Gardner off, right? Because I'm a little irritated about that. They killed my main guy. Can't believe that. I'm like, they killed Will Gardner. You suck. I haven't watched it for a while, but I'm like, oh, that's just so frustrating. But I absolutely love that show. That hands down, couldn't have picked a better show to be on. I don't think I need to tell you that. It's fabulous. The writing's fabulous. The casting's terrific. They've got a heck of a show there. I mean, it's just absolutely, absolutely fabulous. Tell me something, and I know this from talking to other people, but listeners won't. When you're on television and when you're on a television set, I've been told by various other actors, hey, guess what, people? It's not as glamorous as it seems. You know, you might be standing around for 12 hours waiting to do your scenes. You might have, some projects where you have 1 scene or 10 scenes. Give us maybe a little of the good and the bad as far as that TV world and you acting in it.
Well, you nailed it right there. Yes, you could be standing around for a long period of time, sometimes in the elements, rain, sleet, snow, whatever it may be.
Okay.
But it still goes to the fact that, you're getting a chance to do what you love to do. You're going to do it, and you're going to be happy about it. Yeah, you might just say, "Oh, that was a tough day." Yes, it's there was has been more than one occasion where I actually was up for 72 straight hours, going from project to project to project. But you do it, and you just you're thankful when it's over. But you're also, wow, I can't believe that I just did this.
Gotcha. I understand. Are you the type of TV actor who does not watch his performances? Because I keep hearing lately that people don't like watching themselves.
I don't. And the reason why, and this is just my opinion, as an actor, when you make a certain choice on how a delivery is going to be, or the character decisions you've made, you have to stick by your choices. And then if you watch yourself again, you say, well, maybe I should have done this, or I like this, and we are our own worst critics. So if anybody says, God, I hate him, he's a terrible actor, this, that, the other thing, guaranteed I've said worse to myself.
Of course.
So those are the things. It's subjective.
Of course, the own worst critic sort of thing. That's why I don't listen to my show either, so I don't blame you whatsoever. Okay, last one on the TV side of things. If I were to ask you right now, and I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm gonna because we're all our own worst critics, I want you to tell me to date, thus far, what you feel is your best performance, as well as the one that you walked away and thought, I don't know if my A game was there.
Ooh. That would be,
I know, right?
That'd be a question I'd have to give it some thought. I wouldn't want to just ramble off on an answer on you.
Okay, well, you can keep thinking about it. We can move on to something else. I think it's always important that, yes, we all want to believe that we're on our A game 24/7, but sometimes you do go away from something learning. Right, exactly, definitely. So on the film side of things, I just, again, want to list some of the things, of course, that are out there. The Power of Knowing, the MMPR, which is what you were discussing. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, the Power of Knowing is a character that people will see a very, very dark side, actually to the point where and the director, a wonderful director named Tyreek Washington, he goes by the name Keys. It's very important to put Keys in there, because he's an Emmy Award musician, and working with him has been tremendous. But the character itself, I had to go to a very, very dark place begin, because it has the character really has no redeeming characteristics. It's just a psychopath in that sense. And so, it's a very violent role. And, you look and say, whoa, okay, this guy is, he's out there. And I didn't, it was very tough. It was a tough place to go because it had to be so dark and creepy in that sense.
Okay. And I know that I've asked this of other actors, but this one, because you brought this up in terms of the mannerisms of your character in this, how do you shake it off? How do you go home and say, hey, honey, dark man isn't here anymore. It's just your husband. It's not some dark, crazy, psychotype person that I just played. You follow me?
Yes. I think it depends on the individual. I've been lucky to have a switch that can turn off. Although when I do get off set, adrenaline is running through your body like there's no tomorrow.
Sure.
And the camera's on and then things, and everybody's watching you, and you're more or less exposed in front of a lot of people. You're standing there, they say when you want to speak in public, you picture everybody naked. Well, put that in reverse. You're standing there naked saying, okay, here I am. And that's where that's what on the acting side of things comes. So the adrenaline is running, and sometimes it takes me hours to wind down from something. Of course, I'll go right to the computer and do something to to get that going.
No, I understand exactly what you mean. Oh, I don't blame you whatsoever. Now, I know you had prefaced before the story of Jesus, so just tell us exactly. Did you approach the casting director for this? Did they come to you? How did that happen? And also, when are we expecting to see that, or is it out already? Because I don't think it is.
That hasn't started filming yet. That is actually in pre-production. So that's not a role I have done yet. That is supposed to be sometime this year that the cameras will be rolling, and I'll wait for that. But that is one of the upcoming projects that I will be working on.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so it's a matter of getting into character for that.
Oh, certainly. Do we anticipate that coming out in the 2015 calendar year, you think?
No, I think because of the size of that production, it probably minimum of late 2016. It's going to take a lot to get there. It's a very large cast, a lot of moving parts that would have to be put together on that.
I understand. Gotcha. Okay. Then I came across a photo of you, and look, John did this short called The Final Table. He's standing there, and he's looking at these. Talk to me about that, because I thought it was so cute. I saw this picture, and I thought, is he going to a dance or something? And he's like, well, wait to hear more details. And I'm like, oh, okay. And thus, The Final Table. So can you talk to us a little bit about that short film?
Oh, The Final Table is about a robbery at the World Series of Poker. And what I am playing in that is I'm actually a little out of character that you would be, but it's a guy in a tuxedo. I am your typical Vegas lounge singer type announcer for that. And so I'm more or less welcoming the crowd to the final table. The final, the winner's going to take it all. So that's
cool.
It's a short little movie about a robbery that happens, at this poker tournament.
I gotcha. If I were to ask you, oh, cool. I was just going to say, can I ask you, shorter films versus longer films? Do you have a personal preference? Do you like doing the shorts and sweets, kind of do your thing, get out, move on to the next thing, or no?
I like working.
Okay, good answer.
I just like working. I love working my craft. So if I'm fortunate enough to be picked for a role, be it a short film, or a larger role, I'm there. And if the project is good, I'd like to be part of it.
Of course. Now, you had prefaced, of course, the MMPR, which is I always equate it to like the Power Rangers thematic sort of thing.
And that's exactly. It's a fan film reboot of the Power Rangers. It's 20 years later from the television series.
How fun is that? Because I was watching you. I saw the Comic-Con things, and I thought to myself, this dude completely doesn't look like he fits in this. And that's all I could say to myself. I'm like, I don't know what he's doing there, because it just doesn't
that's because
jive,
I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy
right?
in this particular thing, yes. I play the General Collins. And, I'm more or less one of the powers that were left behind, I want to take for my own bidding and do what I want to do with them. So, the government
Shocker.
wants to say,
There's a red alert. John's playing a bad guy. Boy, that's a shock, right? Oh, my goodness gracious. I came across this little ditty, Revenge of the Green Dragon, which is a Marty Scorsese film. And there's this guy in it called Ray Liotta. I'm mad on the trail to try to find out, because I'm thinking he might be single. And I'm thinking,
I don't know.
But I'm thinking you were like on a movie stage with him, right?
Well, actually, no. He worked different days that I was so because everything with a movie, everything's not done in one day. It's multiple time.
Right.
So I worked with a few of my acting friends that we worked different days together, and then they weren't there when I was there, and vice versa. So it just happens. It all depends on the scheduling of the production.
I understand, yeah. I got all excited there because I'm like, that's like one of my top 2 Hollywood crushes that I'm like, if they're single, I'm going for it. And I'm like, John's going to have the 411 on Ray Liotta. I just know it, right? I'm like all excited. Not Okay. Did you get an opportunity to have any sort of intimate time with Marty Scorsese? Because, of course, he is above and beyond, one of those icons, again, that we all would love to work with, spend time with, get to know, be around.
No, I would love to say I did, but I'm not on that level. Okay. I'm what's known as a day player. In a lot of cases, they call you in for a specific thing, and then you're gone. You go on to the next one. So it all depends. But no, that certain people you don't approach, and a lot of them you just don't. They're there for a reason. They're trying to focus on what they need to do, and everybody gets it done.
Gotcha. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask about is I saw a little ditty here that had mentioned a new venture, and I don't know if you can talk about it or not, something called Big Sky?
Well, Big Sky is just a project I am supporting at this time, and that's the best best wording that I could put that in.
Okay, so I understand. I don't want to push too far.
It's a project that I've heard about. I've been looking at it, and it's a good premise of the show, and I've been following it since I've been hearing about it.
I understand completely. I do. Now, before I forget, I wanted to ask this question. This is very important. If you want to listen for 30 seconds, I've written down a bunch of different places where people can find you. So first off, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything, so just 1 second here. Obviously, of course, John has an IMDb profile, obviously, as most would. Some of your work can be found on Vimeo, Vimeo, iTunes, YouTube. You have a Twitter handle, which is of course, John, and then your last name, which is Damroth. On Facebook, you have both your personal page as well as John Damroth, the actor, which is your actor page. There is a Facebook page for the Final Table Shoot, for the Familia series, for the Story of Jesus. Have I missed anything?
And also MMPR fan film. Okay. There is, you can find us there. That is in post-production. I know fans have been very anxious about it because it's been a while in post-production, but the product, the wait will be worth it.
I gotcha. Now, back to my other TV question. Did you come up with an answer yet?
No.
I gave you ample time. I skipped back. I skipped back on purpose. Well, what can I say? I got to suck everything out of you.
You have to learn to do in this business and evade and keep going.
Yeah, nice job there, pal. Eventually I'm getting my answer. That much I'm going to tell you that.
You will. You'll get your answer.
So one of my very last questions to you is this, if I were to ask John right now, what are you working on? Can you talk about what you're working on? Like literally as we speak?
No, that I cannot. This one is... this one I have to be tight-lipped about. It's something
I understand.
fun, but...
I gotcha. I understand. The other question I wanted to address is, of course, obviously I am a fan of yours, but I'm not the only person that's out there who is. So let's say, here I am wandering around the streets of New York City and saying to myself, I want to run into that actor guy. Are you accessible? Do you do public appearance? Are there times or places that people can find you?
Really all depends on my schedule. When I'm usually very accessible. When I have free time. What I will say is that I don't have a lot of free time. But should anybody run into me, and it has happened, some people have recognized me from a couple of things, and they were afraid to approach me. And one in particular, there was a couple of teenage girls who said, "That's the guy," and they were walking with their parents. So the father came over and said, "Excuse me, I was actually outside a trailer for another project that I was working on." He goes, "Are you that guy from that MMPR thing?" I said, "Yes, I'm the general." And my daughters were saying it was you. So I said, "Yeah, you don't have to come over and say hello if you'd like, So
cool. That's very, very cool.
I'm not.
Yes.
I can't be considered a celebrity. I'm just a working actor."
Well, then I apologize because I preface this interview as a celebrity interview because I've said, as you know, anybody that comes on this show is a celebrity to me because you, my friend, do all sorts of things that I know that I cannot do, and I'm certain of that. So in my eyes, of course, you are the definite epitome of a celebrity. You exemplify drive and desire and passion, as you mentioned, and you go after what you want, and you inspire and you motivate. I don't think you realize that you do. But we'll get into that in just 1 second. There's only 2 more things that we need to address, and then you're rid of me, if you can believe that. This time has gone so amazingly quick, I can't even tell you. And I'm not nearly as scared of you as I was an hour ago. Because, you're not so bad, actually. You're really not as scary as I thought you were going to be. So there's 2 things that I want to bring up, one of which is my last ritual of the day, which is I always get the opportunity to tell my guests what I think of him. So that will be the last thing that I do. But The one thing that I want to address is I have an invitation for you. And this just came up today, as a matter of fact. So I don't know if you can do this or not, but this is a personal invitation from me to you. I mentioned to you that I was coming to New York City, and then I got pneumonia for like 2 weeks. So guess what? I didn't come to New York City last week because I had pneumonia for 2 weeks. But I'm coming to New York City the 28th of this month, and I'm staying for a couple of different days. So I'm going to send you an invitation. It's actually more of a personal appearance thing. But if you can't appear, you need to tell me now. No, I mean, if I know if you're going to be gone during that time, be like, you know what, Cindy, I can't do this. The reason I say that is because there is, I was alerted to, there's a place, and I don't know if you've heard of it because it's really more in Rochester, New York, Sanctuary Village and the House of Mercy. They're both homeless shelters. And they're not getting cooperation from the city. They're having a lot of issues. So I'm trying to pool a lot of my friends together, actors, people in the media, et cetera, to get together to try to pool our resources sometime at the end of this month in the city of New York. I was going to go to Rochester, but that's so far away. So I'm just saying to you, if you're going to be free and available, I would love for you to be able to participate if your schedule allows.
Okay.
It allows.
To go through my schedule, send me the date and
I'll
time
send information.
Okay.
You betcha. It's all in the works as we speak right now. So the only other thing that we have left over is to talk about me and my thoughts about you. I'm hoping that this doesn't make you cry. I doubt it will because you're like so serious that I don't even think you do cry. But everybody else comes on the show and I give them my last spiel and they like cry. So I'm like, I really hope that John doesn't cry because I'd feel bad. I want to give my impressions, my own personal impressions of what I think of you, because hopefully if I've done my job right, people have gotten an introspective view that's completely different from what they envision. They'll become fans and followers of yours after they've listened to my show, and they'll gravitate to almost every project that you have, so hopefully. So if you give me about a minute or two, I'll give you my impressions now. John, from the get-go, the very first time I ever looked at his picture or actually ever read any of his things on Facebook or otherwise, revealed an individual who is just on the bare level, just fundamentally simplistic. He showed worry, he showed fear, he showed apprehension, but he also showed this overwhelming drive and desire to do what he loves to do every single day of his life, whether that means loving his wife, loving his family, loving his career, loving the project that he's on. This relatability factor was the first thing that gravitated me to him. Second of all, it's this immense, crazy, sort of ongoing pace that he lives. And I can tell it in every moment that he's on there. He crams 50 things into 1 second all the time. And he makes it look like there's no skill to it. I mean, he is just so point on all the time. He doesn't have to try. He doesn't have to work at it. He's just perfect at it. I have a hard time believing that you have a hard time balancing anything because you show such immense perfection in everything that you do. I mean, you walk into a room and you look so commanding, but everybody who's around you feels the warmth that you circulate in a room. I can imagine that at first it must be kind of difficult to work with you because I can picture this drill sergeant saying, you're going to do this my way, you're going to do this in the manner that I want it done, but at the end I'm going to love you to death and we're going to be friends for life. But right now we all got to be on our A game, and it's all about that. You're focused, you're funny, you're interesting because you're nothing like a person would expect you to be on first glance, which I find amazing. I see for you nothing but ongoing popularity by the people that meet you, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's in a project, whether it's something that they view, or at an event, because, believe it or not, you are approachable despite that. And the one last thing I want to mention to you is you are so not about yourself that I find that wonderful. And I know that's not the poised author way to say it. You are not a diva. And in this business and in this industry, you come across plastic, artificial people all the time, people that are not sincere in scenario when it comes to meaning. You are 100% basic in the best way. And that's always going to be the way I describe you. I meant what I said. It's been an honor to share time with you. I would be even more honored if I get a chance to spend even just a few hours getting into your brain when I come there. And I certainly hope that you know already that any time that you have something to promote, you can come back on my show, you can bend my ear, you can have any kind of time you want or any sort of exposure I can give you. And having your friendship is something that I hope I can hold for a very long time.
Wow. Thank you.
Are you
so
okay?
much.
Are you there?
Yeah, that was, yes, I'm all right. I'm not crying.
I'm like, did I kill him or something?
I'm deeply appreciative without a doubt.
It's
humbled.
okay.
I'm humbled by your statement.
But it's very true, and I don't think people really realize until they come on a show like this when somebody actually talks about them, and you have to step outside of yourself. I'm making you kind of look at you. And this is just me following you over time, and just so everybody knows, I've never met John in person to date as of yet. This is just everything that I read, everything that I watch, everything that I've researched, talking to other people about you. It's just my perspective and in my world. And like I said, if I've done my job right, people will get that same impression of you by watching your film or listening to this interview today. And before I forget to tell you, this interview in the next hour or so becomes archived. So any of your fans that do not get a chance to listen in now live can certainly go back, and this is all year round. And just so you know, if I do another book of all my radio show guests, I would certainly love to ask you to come on board so that I could actually focus on you within a book sort of scenario, which I've done already in the past. And, of course, thank you so much for giving me all this time. I'm humbled.
Oh, thank you. I've had a lot of fun. I've had smiles, laughs the entire time.
Really?
It's been very pleasurable. I want to thank your audience, too, especially because, hey, I'm just John. Doing my thing, John. Living my life, having a grand old time doing it. So thank you for being part of this, Cindy. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a joy, and I do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
It does. The time has gone very fast, but it has been a bit.
It has. It has. It really has, definitely so. And I will make sure to post up all of your links, all of your information shortly. I'll go onto my personal page as well as, of course, the radio show page, list everything so that people can go ahead and take a look at you and all that good stuff, and then you can feel free to repost that well, of course, certainly. And definitely, I look forward to check your calendar. I'll send you some information. Hopefully we can find ourselves in the same place while I'm there.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
All right, wonderful, my dear. You have a great afternoon, and I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Thanks. Now. Holy cow, folks, that was John Damroth. I am so, like I said, so humbled, so beyond myself. I was so nervous. Boy, kids, I hope I did okay with him. Don't want to forget to mention one more time all the places to find him. IMDb profile. Some of his work can be on iTunes, YouTube, Vimeo. His Twitter handle, again, is @JohnDamroth, which is, again, spelled Damroth. He has both a personal and an actor page. And, of course, the Facebook pages, Story of Jesus, the Familia series, and the Final Table short film. And, of course, obviously the MMPR page as well. Again, my deepest thanks to John. Thank you so very much for making it so easy for me to do my job today. Don't want to forget to mention that tomorrow we have Mike Richards, which is part of my Sins Canadian Connections show. Unfortunately, we have to run it through my Sins chat corner. For some strange reason, we're having problems with my other page, and I will get it straightened out one of these days. Mike Richards, of course, is he a writer, he's a composer, and he's a musician. And, of course, he's Canadian. That's what we love about those folks. They are just so down to earth, so full of creativity and character, I can't even tell you. So please tune in tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, to listen in to Mike Richards. I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon and try to stay warm. Thanks.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figured out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.